All right, let's talk about Alex Leatherwood. Let's get into some film with him. The much criticized second-year player now who did not have a great rookie season. He was famously selected 17th overall by John Gruden and Mike Mayock, when many felt like he was more of a second-round pick kind of guy, but they took him in the first. They have him. Hey, a second-round pick kind of guy is still a valuable asset. And I thought he played well in this game. And, according to Chris Collinsworth, I guess the Raiders love what they've seen from him in camp. And, I thought he played well in this. Again, it's obviously, we all know it's just a preseason game. How much can you take into account? But it's at least promising and cool to see. So let's start talking about the film now. Starting off with this play. So what's going to happen here is this is a 3rd down and 1. So this is big boy football, right? You're going to need power here. And I think that, honestly, I think that Leatherwood's going to do a good job on this play. Or watch what he's going to do. Watch when this play begins. Look at how he really drives number 96 there back. And I think, again, at this point, this is exactly what you want to do. Because all you need is that first yard. Again, things get different when you're going for, if it's a 1st down and 10, right? Those are just two completely different scenarios. All you want is if everyone can push their opposing defensive lineman 1 yard further and the running back just runs into the wall, you got the 1st down, you're living to see another down. So that's the whole goal. And you see, that's what the Raiders are doing. However, the play does not end here. I think Leatherwood's going to do some more good stuff, in my opinion. Watch him then continue to drive him back and, really knocks him forward. So, good play from Leatherwood. Again, if we're talking about, someone who was not considered very good last year. So maybe just a new coaching staff that can find little things. Josh McDaniels has, historically, offensive linemen have played much better under him. Now, does he deserve credit for it? Who deserves credit for it? I don't know, but he typically doesn't get the credit for it. But hey, maybe he at least has picked up a couple things and can, give those to Leatherwood. We also have a play like this, where this is a couple of what we saw, where, again, are these the most electric plays you will ever see? No. And it goes without saying, we're dealing with a small sample size inherently because it's preseason. So we got to kind of do with what we can. But what we're going to see here is it's going to be a block on the edge against a defensive lineman. It's going to be number 91 for Jacksonville. That is Dwayne Smoot, who's a fine player. He, was fine last year. Anyways, watch really what he's going to do. And really, I think the main thing I should set up is just what his job is. What Smoot is going to try to make sure he does is not give up containment. Make sure that if the halfback bounces things to the outside to the offense's right, he's able to get over and make a tackle. So for Leatherwood, what you can do is you can either A, don't let that happen, or B, the far more likely scenario would just be, if that does happen, just kind of drive him back and give a potential running lane for the halfback in that direction. And as you see, B is going to be the option. There was a running lane for him to get through. Again, a fine block, not a highlight reel level play, but I thought that he did his job there. He didn't go above and beyond. He didn't suck, though. And if you're an offensive lineman who just does your job and you have 5 of those guys, that's a great offensive line. That's just the reality of the position. Like also something like this, which is definitely not a highlight reel level play. Do not think that I'm bringing this up to say, look at this. Isn't this awesome? Isn't this fantastic? No, that is not the situation, but it's fun. What's going to happen is, again, it's going to be one of those containment style plays. It's a running play, exact same situation as last time. And this time, it's a different edge rusher who is going to be going up to try and get past Alex Leatherwood on this play. So that's one thing worth noting. This is Kayvon Chason, the former 1st round pick who's also gotten criticized. So, quote unquote bust versus quote unquote bust here. But watch how Leatherwood is going to react here. Chason goes to the edge and Leatherwood simply just lets him do it. He's going to get over and get to the edge. So again, very simple, very basic. But hey, you got to do the simple stuff, and that's what he is able to do on a play like this. Finally, one last play I want to talk about will be this one. So what's going to happen here is, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup. That's where he is blocking. It's 2nd down and 4 situation, and it's going to be a running play once again. So, happen to show all running plays here. Not really sure why. His pass blocking was fine. Didn't really, if you don't notice an offensive lineman in the pass blocking game, that's a good thing. That's all they really have to do. His pass blocking was certainly fine. But watch what's going to happen on this play in the running game. So right off the bat, you see how he is able to, again, at this point, nothing too much has happened. 98 for Jacksonville is doing a fine job, I think. But if 98 is really going to win this block, he's going to have to get to one side or the other. And Leatherwood's doing a good job of kind of grabbing his, the inside of his jersey area, which, in 1972 probably would have gotten called for holding. They don't call that anymore. That's not considered holding unless he is twisting around and you still hold on. So because of that, it's going to be very difficult to actually be able to run over and stop a play here. And as you see, because of that, Leatherwood is able to finish off this block, allows for a good run. So again, Leatherwood did his job. He didn't really get the toughest competition against Jacksonville. You know, Josh Allen wasn't playing. Trayvon Walker entirely played on the other side. So because of that, not the most competition, I didn't think. But again, he answered the bell, certainly. So yeah, I mean, that's how I thought about Alex Leatherwood, which is, I think, good, right? Again, I feel like I have to say this 1,000 times, and people will still say I didn't say it enough. Preseason only means so much. But what do I always say about preseason? It can give us little nuggets of information based on a bigger sample size. It by itself means nothing to me. But with a bigger sample size, it can mean something to me. And I think that for a situation like this with Leatherwood, I think that it's promising that this happened. Again, not going up against the best competition. He beat Caleb Von Chason. That's what we learned, is that he can hold his own against Caleb Von Chason, which is maybe not ideal, but Smoot's an alright player, and he held his own against him as well. So I guess that's the promise. And I think that, listen, one of those weird things with preseason, even before the preseason, in training camp kind of hype, is you hear all these reports about, oh, Leatherwood's looked amazing, but it's like, okay, but people say that about so many different players, especially highly criticized players. I can never really take that much I can never take it that seriously, I guess, just because of that, which I think is fair. But then because of that, because there's always, that hesitation, when you then see it in the preseason, it can make you say, okay, well, maybe there's actually some truth to it then. Maybe he is actually having a good training camp. Maybe he is now having a good preseason. So all that works together. Now, many people have had good training camps, had good preseasons, and then struggled once the regular season starts. Maybe Leatherwood will be one of those people. And if I remember correctly, I think Leatherwood actually had a good preseason last year. So maybe that's not too optimistic. But again, we're dealing with, it's still, I think, a good thing. It's better that he's having success during the preseason than if he wasn't having success during the preseason. And I also think it's just good that, he's, doing the little things. He's not getting beat too much in any big major way. Again, I mean, to some degree, you can only talk so much about a preseason, small sample size snap. He played, I believe, 2 series, so you can only talk so much about it. And I actually think that's kind of the bigger concern I have with talking about preseason. It's less about, do I think these reps matter, and more about, there's just not that many reps. So, you have 6 good reps and nail them all, well, then you look good. But if you miss 2 of them, well, then you look bad. But that's such a small sample size. If it was over 100 snaps, maybe you'd have only sucked in 3 of them, but now it looks bad because you sucked in 2 of them. So the sample size is actually, I think, more concerning than the competition. But hey, better to be good in a small sample size than bad in a small sample size. He was good in a small sample size. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.